Here's an unsettling question. What if the way you've been taught to watch films has actually been training you not to see? What if passively absorbing images reinforces the very power structures that feminist cinema sets out to dismantle? Welcome to Week 2 of IAH241G Women Behind the Camera and Onscreen. Today, we're discussing active viewing, not as some optional intellectual exercise, but rather as a fundamental skill for understanding how visual culture shapes consciousness, power, and desire. Now, learning to see otherwise isn't just about becoming a better film student. It's about developing a critical apparatus that will change how you navigate every screen you encounter for the rest of your life. And today's 5 strategies will help you decode which stories get told, whose bodies get displayed, and whose perspectives are presented as universal truth. You'll learn to read silence as deliberately as speech, to recognize that a directorial cut or color choice can be as politically charged as dialogue, and to understand your own discomfort as valuable evidence rather than something to dismiss. That matters because films don't just reflect ideology, they produce it. They teach us how to look, what to desire, and whose humanity to recognize. Active viewing gives you agency in that process. So, how do we actually approach movies as active viewers? First of all, analyze narrative structure and silence. Whose voices drive the story? What experiences get marginalized or maybe erased entirely? Remember, in patriarchal storytelling, women's perspectives are often framed as special cases rather than universal experiences. Second, contextualize within intersecting systems. Listen, no film exists in a vacuum, so ask which perspectives it represents and, importantly, which points of view does it exclude. For example, white feminism, trans feminism, or black feminism. These nuances and differences matter, so keep that point in mind. Third, engage both your emotional and intellectual responses. When you feel uncomfortable, don't just ignore and push through it. Rather, reflect on and interrogate what's nagging at you. What assumptions is the film challenging? What expectations is it refusing to meet? Now, these first 3 strategies focus on content, what a film shows, and how we respond. But here's where things get really interesting. What if the most radical interventions happen not in the story itself, but in the formal choices that you might not even notice consciously? Our final 2 points today might fundamentally change what you notice on screen later. The fourth approach in how to engage with a film as an active viewer is to connect its form to politics. That jarring edit we notice, or maybe the refusal of conventional beauty, those aren't accidents. They too are directorial choices. And challenging dominant ideology often requires challenging dominant cinematic language itself. Last of all, question the gaze. Ask yourself who gets to look and who is looked at. Whose desire does the camera serve? This isn't about policing representation, keep in mind. It's about recognizing that the camera is never neutral. So here's your challenge for our Week 2 film, I Am Not a Witch from 2017. Don't just watch it. Instead, notice when you want to look away, when you feel the film breaking rules, when something feels off, wrong, or uncomfortable. Write it down and bring your observations to our Week 3 discussion, because that's where the real learning will happen, in the gap between what we expect and what the films comprising IAH241G Women Behind the Camera and On-Screen deliver. These movies require more than our passive consumption. Rather, they require our active collaboration in seeing otherwise. Okay, everyone, that'll do it for now. Get a jump on the Week 2 and Week 3 tasks ahead of our next meeting on Monday, January 26th. See you then.